Well, April is Stress Awareness Month, and our next guest wants to ensure we relax as the weather reluctantly warms up.
Here to help us chill out is Dr. Paul Hokemeyer. Welcome to Arise.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Okay, so April, Stress Awareness Month. I had no idea. Why is this time of year particularly stressful?
Well, I think that we want to focus on renewal. Spring is about renewal. We want to get rid of things that aren't working in our lives.
Yes.
So stress is something that can hold us back.
Yes.
And we want to be looking at ways that we can move ourselves forward and have more productive, healthier lives.
Well, how can we become more aware of our stress triggers? I mean, how can we better cope with them?
The first thing to do is pay attention to your body. Our bodies are amazing machines, right? We feel things in our bodies.
Yes.
Typically, people feel stress in their stomach. So if I'm stressed out, my stomach will be upset. Other people, though, feel it in their neck or in their head. I had a patient once who thought that she had a brain tumor. Well, really what she had was a bad relationship, and she was stressed out about their relationship
I don't mean to laugh,
with
but
her
that is
boyfriend.
hysterical.
And once we worked through those issues, suddenly
so
she didn't
you
have
prescribed a way for her to kick him to the left?
Well, yes.
Yeah, I carry my
term,
stress
right?
in my shoulders, though. Like,
In your shoulders?
Yeah,
Right.
it gets up to here sometimes, and you just have to bring it down.
And then I get nervous belly, like just a nervous belly. It just, the butterflies.
Butterflies. So how do we deal with those things? Because they can impact you physically.
Absolutely. So really we want to see what our stress triggers are. Is it work? For most people, it's work. It's money, work. It could be relationships. That's the second one. And so know what those triggers are, and then pay attention to your body, and then figure out ways to manage it in a healthy way.
Now, is it meditation?
Yeah.
Is it exercise? Is it taking a walk around the block, drinking more water? What do you suggest?
You know, it could be all of those things. What I recommend patients do is start a stress journal. So write down things that make you stressed out. Because what happens when we get
But
stressed...
that would stress me out, too.
Right.
Having to keep a stress journal.
Right. Well, that's the whole bit of this. You know, one of the
Okay.
things I also tell my patients is, don't get stressed out about having stress. Listen, stress can be...
Well, you see something interesting. A stress-free life is a fantasy.
Right, forget it. I mean,
So
if you're looking
explain
for stress, right, forget it. So really, you utilize stress in a way. Look at what the stress points are in your life. Then minimize it if it's causing you to be held back in life. But then also you can use it in a way to move your life forward. So if you are in a bad relationship, like this patient that I had, right?
Yes.
She used it to get out of that relationship and have a more meaningful life and a healthier relationship. So stress can be very valuable in our lives.
We just have to be able to manage it.
We just have to be able to manage it.
Now let's talk about family.
Okay.
You can't pick your family.
That's
You
right.
can't pick your family.
And you love your family.
You love your family.
But
That's called
sometimes
built-in stress, right?
Yeah, sometimes your family can be so stressful.
Right.
And you don't really want to dump your family, so how do we manage that?
So put boundaries around the time.
I love my family, by the way.
I do too.
I love boundaries. I love boundaries.
Okay,
you had me
right.
at boundaries. I like that.
So essentially what we need to do is if our family stresses us out, we can limit the amount of time that we spend with our family. So for a holiday, for the Easter, you don't need to spend all day there, or you don't need to spend a week there. You can go in for 3 hours or 5 hours or whatever's a reasonable amount of time for you, and make sure that you have a beginning and an end, because stress makes us feel like we're out of control in our lives. So in order to minimize stress, we need to regain some sense of control over ourselves and over our lives and our relationships in them.
Now, you work in New York and Florida. Do you find...
And LA.
And LA.
Right.
Do you find that New York is a more stressful place?
Absolutely.
Really? Now, why is that?
Because it's so intense. You know, it's just coming up here on the subway. It was loud. Things were clashing. It was dirty. People were bumping into each other. It's a great city. It's an amazing city, but it's intense. Our senses get on overload.
How do you diagnose a New Yorker that's kind of stressed out by all of those elements?
You know, you can feel it. You basically, when they come in my office and I sit with them and they're sitting across from me, I pick it up. I pick up the vibe. I can tell that there's just this really intense energy that's coming out of them.
Yeah.
So it's a felt experience. And I think you all know when you're with somebody who's stressed out that you can just, you have a reaction.
It projects. It does project.
True.
Right.
Sometimes you have to just leave New York for a bit. Go on vacation someplace else just to get back to normal.
Even just going over a bridge or through a tunnel. Sometimes when I go over to Brooklyn, I just feel like a sense of calm come over me. It's an intense place.
So who's calmer, Floridians or the people from California?
It depends on the time of year.
Oh, okay.
Like in the wintertime when the traffic is really crazy, in Florida and all the people are driving really slowly, it gets intense. I don't know. Overall, though, I would have to say Floridians. It's just being in nature is extraordinary, having a spiritual connection, having a connection to trees and birds.
Well,
and
I
the
would
sun.
think it's a natural migration. Many New Yorkers retire to Florida. Is that right?
Exactly, which causes the problems with traffic in December, but...
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing that we can all do today to manage our stress? One thing.
Breathe.
Breathe.
You know, we forget when we get stressed out, we start breathing really shallow and we get tense up here. And just everyone right now who's in the audience, just take a really deep breath. Take a deep breath. Right? See?
Well, Dr. Hokemeyer, as we breathe, these are some great tips you've given us.
And you feel calmer, right? You're less
We
stressed?
feel calmer, and we thank you
It's a pleasure.
for joining us here at Arise Entertainment 360.
One
Thank
last
you.
deep
So we
breath.
want all of you.
Let's hold hands.
We can hold hands.
We want everybody to breathe because this is Arise Entertainment 360. We'll be back.
That feels good.